Meeting.
This treasure was found by a trespasser. Listen, you need to challenge even what you think of yourself. Pastor, as you are looking at me like this, I am a career civil servant.
We understand most of their plight, but we are interested also in making other stakeholders, government authorities, and other also hope to attract funding from local and international donors to address and identify key issues of old elderly persons in Nigeria. So it
is the elderly neglected. Have you gone to the grassroots to know why we are being neglected? Because I will say why we. Because I'm already part and parcel of the elders. Why are we neglected? Why are we not cared for? Why are we not recognized? Why?
You as an older person, in most societies, even in this part of the world, when we were growing, we used to say that it is the whole society that brings up a child. Because older people will rarely see you misbehave and not. I say sexual. A 23-year-old sexually abusing a 74-year-old woman and always threatening to kill her if she tells anybody. And then infection, tears. So elder abuse comes in various forms: physical, psychological, sexual. I was driving many years ago along a place called Okiado in Ibadan, and I saw on a story building big sign. You want me to be calling you every day? There's no time. But some people will abandon their older persons, complete neglect, and you see the kind of life they live. Negative attitude and perspective of being burdened to the society. The young people there, me, my wife, and my children. That's very vital. The socioeconomic situation, pressure on the family members, especially children, is giving them an excuse. 500 per litre. The first time I bought it in Ibadan, it's a plan that has been made, and how to monitor and review it. We will see them because their needs are quite different from the needs of the younger ones. Older people's needs are different. So when you begin to see them as a distinct group, a different cohort, then you will make the right provision for them. Banks during the money exchange period. Old people suffer for this. Honestly. When she told me the things they do in that ministry, I prayed that our own leaders will see it that way and make that kind of provision. Pension scheme not well organized. While they are beginning to do one or two things, and it's also very inadequate. But let's pray that with time we will get there. The lack of social security, the unorganized private sector, that one too is very. You see, not all of us are civil servants. Not all of us work in the organized private sector. The fisherman from Bayelsa, who gives him anything in old age? Or the farmer from Bauchi? Or the hunter from Okeogbinoyo? They don't have anything to fall back to. When they get old and they can't do anything anymore, their suffering starts or it continues. There should be social security. Some states attempted it at a point. Even if it's 5,000. 5,000 doesn't mean anything to you people. When they told me the breakfast I had this morning, I said, hey, that one, if one old man get that, he go buy drugs. I take chop yam and praise God. You know? And my potential, large with great potential. We are talking about 11 point something million. If you sell one thing to them and you make 100 naira, no, even 1 naira, that's 11 point something million every month. If you sell it to all of them, assuming you sell it to all of them in a month, you make 11 point something. And this is the greatest opportunity of my life many years ago. At an international conference in Perth, in Australia, some Japanese came, and Chinese, sorry, and displayed many of their products. At that time, I got bypassed. I never thought of it. They gave me samples. If you can buy just one container will be giving you 2 extra that you can pay later. I wish I was an Igbo man. I for don sell myself. I for don be billionaire. I just brought the sample dummy in my wardrobe. When I train caregivers these days, I use it as an example. And when I look at it, I say, look at poor man. Poor in thinking, poor in pocket. You know, because suddenly
it was built for the capacity of around 630 something. But the last time I visited the center, there were about almost 3,000 inmates still making use of that capacity of 600 and something. And within that population, there are old persons and also scrambling for spaces with the younger ones. You know, it was of recent that even us at Capio that was started changing the way we think about this intervention, because you know crime is associated with the youth. So when us at Capio we focused our attention on the youth and trying to see how we can prevent them from getting into the custodial center, doing some preventive intervention.
Why? Because they're no longer in active service. And when you're no longer in active service, you begin to lose your spending power, your purchasing power, because you don't earn income. And if we look at it today, it becomes what we call income inequality, whether we like it or not. They are no longer on the same level with us. So and when they are facing these poverty challenges, a lot of factors comes into play. When you cannot afford what you normally should afford, you will have difficulties with your health. And so poverty also leads to health challenges. And knowing the fact that as you grow older, you begin to normally, biologically experience different illnesses. So imagine when you're not feeling well, malnutrition sets in for an elderly person. So poverty becomes one key challenge. Also, it also relates to how you're going to take care of your health. Because when an elderly person is sick, how would that person access health care? You will not be able to access health care in the way that somebody who is working and receiving better income can do that. And so at this stage, the elder persons are dependent. They're dependent on their family members. They're dependent on the government. And when we talk about their realities today in urban cities, do we really have all these things in place by the government? Are we having a situation whereby older persons can actually access quality health care? So these are one of their challenges. Another key challenge is the issue of mobility and transportation. Because whether we like it or not, they also will need to go out. Even when you as a caregiver or a family member who is taking the role of a caregiver wants to give care to the elderly person, especially in aspects of health, you need to take that person to the hospital. You also need to take that person to the hospital. It's not all families can afford to take taxis, can pay for taxis. And so there's a need for their mobility and transportation to be taken care of, which also brings us lastly to what should be in place. And I would recommend that government takes a holistic approach when it comes to dealing with issues concerning the elderly persons. It is a multi-sectoral approach. It is not something that government can do alone. It's a collaborative effort. So we need to all collaborate, the civil society, the organizations. We also have the organized private sector, multinational organizations, as well as international donors. Everybody, all stakeholders needs to come on board and ensure that the national policy on aging is being well implemented, because it is one thing for you to enact a law and another thing for it to be properly implemented. And also look at ways of monitoring it. And that is where the civil society plays key significant role. They need to bring in civil society organization when it comes to monitoring progress, so we can all know if this policy is working and going the way it should, and the right beneficiaries, which are the older persons, are actually being the ones that are benefiting from it.
The way you smile, do you look at them? So it is advised when you're communicating with them, you use direct and straight sentences. You don't ask questions like, oh, do you remember what we talked about yesterday? You don't say, how, why won't you remember? You don't.
I went to social media. I said, let me check what is happening. Because I know that mainstream media will hardly hear anything about aging and elderly people. So I looked at hashtags. Last year when we launched the research, there was a hashtag we all use. Hashtag aging is a blessing. Can we remember?
Yes.
Yes. So that was the hashtag. Guess how many posts are related to that hashtag? 100 plus. 100. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 to 100. I said, okay. And now said, let me look at other aging hashtags. So I saw aging, 285,000 posts. I said, okay, there's hope. But that is globally. You know that aging is a blessing is our own Nigerian thing, right? I looked at aging gracefully, which is something we all want. 112. I said, okay, let me still check. I saw aging well. How many of us want to age well? Oh yeah, let us say aging well. Aging well.
Aging well.
You got for me now. Aging well.
Aging well.
Correct. 42. Then guess what? Anti-aging 1.3 million. You can imagine. That is the reality that we are all dealing with. 1.3 million posts related to anti-aging. Is that not a fallacy? For us, aging is a blessing. So we're here to celebrate the aging process. We're here to celebrate ourselves and the work that we are doing. So in order for us to remind ourselves how aging is a blessing, where's my DJ? I have DJ Timothy on the beat. Daddy said something about we like to rock to music that is familiar to us. So I'm hoping that this can take us back down memory lane. And the challenge for this exercise is everybody is going to dance their own native dance to this song. Yes. Yes. Check the other time you were complaining when mommy was dancing and going down. You said, we can't go down. Okay, no problem. You will dance your own village dance to this particular song. DJ, hit it. Can we please? Are you feeling this song? It's as if you're feeling this song, as organizations and as parts of the community. So for the growth clinic, what do we want to achieve? These are our collective aspirations. We say we want to get better. So there are certain things that we want to achieve. We want to identify the core competencies of COP member organizations, detail opportunities for personal development and organizational growth, strategize a growth pattern, and look out for emerging themes that can be leveraged for our community's benefit. Does that sound like what we want to achieve? Does that sound like what we want to achieve?
Yes.
Yeah, I can't hear. Does that sound like something we want to achieve?
Yeah.
All right. Okay. So that is what we're going to begin with. By having these conversations that are aimed at pushing us to the next level. Remember, we've talked about sustainability. We've identified all the gaps that exist in terms of policy, advocacy, and practice. We have seen the situation of elderly people in different contexts. And I know that because of the work we're doing, we're passionate about closing those gaps so that the lot of elderly people can get better. So for us to do that, we're going to do quite a series of reflection. And the very first reflection would be at our organizational level. All of us who are here today are members of an organization, and we're individuals within that organization. The strength of the organization is also based on the competencies that we have and the strengths that we bring to the table. So that is the kind of reflection that we intend to be having, so that propels us forward as a community. So please indulge me. This is an exercise for us all. So indulge me. My first appeal is for us to kindly put our phones.
The 3, is it 2, 1 or 3? So 3 for interest and 3 for values. So pick 3.
Where are my negotiation?
Grand. Is that Dulce's son? No, the son of the. Dulce is not yet married. That's why I'm the secretary. Don't mind him. Thank you.
Me and my enjoyment partner. Yeah. Going for lunch right now. So come along with my lunch because most probably people were shopping Abuja money. Food. Okay. So I thought I was recording. Careful. Appetite to eat the yeah. I beg. And the ones that I don't want to, I want to kill them. So you get potential.
On the other side. On the other side.
Don't worry, I
Please, pepper soup. They give us cruise for this place.
Really, troublemaker.
Yay! What video is it doing? Have you done videos? No, I'm going to sell this for you for you take a bite. Hey, this is day 2. And this is how she's looking.
You are mentioning it. You actually you are identifying what the artist is in that. So ask yourself, have I ever been impatient with my parents? First of all, the woman has no business holding her husband.
Mama, we put the food here. How come you didn't eat it? Or why did you pee on the bed? It's always a harsh truth. That is what hurts them. So, we that are family members, that our parents are still alive, or we have an elderly person close to us, or we run into, giving them, showing them a little bit of care. And guess what? If we do it, you'll be amazed at the valuable information and knowledge that you will gather for free. Not to talk about the blessings that come with it, because I don't want this driver to take me to collect my pension. The person may not tell you why. So don't force it. Rather, if that driver is the only person that will take him or her to the pension place or to the bank, make sure there's somebody else accompanying them. Because they would not want to report to you exactly what's going on with that person. Am I somewhere in the southwest? Lagos. Somewhere close to Lagos. I saw, but there have been others since then. What was the issue? This woman obviously had dementia, and people said, oh, how they found her that she was one of these birds that were flying, having come back from wherever they went over the night, and the oldest woman was the one that was the goalkeeper that time. You should have seen this woman. She was so determined that no ball will pass by her. She tried everything, including introducing some
I did yesterday. What are you taking? See,
What is another light?
how would you like you get it now. And because it's double now, My latte. Looking like that coffee that I used to drink
By trying to provide care with minimum pay and improved comfort. The formal side of care, usually from trained people and by professionals. Professionals could be nurses, could be community workers, could be social workers, could be medical doctors. But the informal, which is the one usually unpaid for, and we don't follow specific methods of care, usually from untrained people like our children, our spouses. There are times that the spouses have to take over. In many cases in old age, especially those who have it well in their marriages and not the polygamous men. Because at that stage, everybody will face their children. The man, the actor of the family, face your old age. Please, I think marry 4 wives. Take care of yourself. But when you have a man and a woman, you usually find out that the woman will stand, most women, they will stand by their husbands till death. So now then do the gradual killing or otherwise. So other members of
to reach out to us. So this afternoon, we are going to be talking about cultural diversity and intergenerational knowledge sharing. Please, can you go back to the next slide? Okay, so we are going to have look at the flowing subtopics. We are going to understand what cultural diversity is. So we are going to start from the very beginning. What is culture? If I should sample like 10 persons here and ask.
That they get the right data and they store the data which is used for evidence-based and policy and budgeting processes, and it also helps for service delivery in the healthcare system. So the HMIS system is an important aspect, an integral aspect of health system strengthening at the federal level, state level, and also at the primary care level. We also have the health facility assessment. Usually, you know, we all have the board, the health facility assessment board document, and that is how it's being imputed into the HMIS system, and this data is being stored. So it is essential that we understand that. And so now we have what we call the Patient Record Management Information System, or Client Information System. We use the word client for the care, for those who are into caregiving. So while the hospitals are more recognized, we're using the word patient. So they have a proper system for managing your data. And that brings us to record keeping. You cannot manage data if you don't keep records very well. So what are the characteristics of good record keeping management? One, your record keeping must be reliable. That's reliability. People should be able to look at the information you've collected from the person you're taking care of and be able to use it to manage care. Not that you collect information that are not complete. And at the end of the day, you're putting the life of that person at risk. It should also have integrity, that access and security measures should be in place. Now we have the care home. And then compliance, of course, it should comply with all requirements arising from legal compliance issues. The comprehensiveness, it should be able to.
For example, I may use my organization as an example. The first stage is the intake stage. And what do we do in the intake stage? You get information, that's, let me say, biodata of the clients. The names, where you live, all those biodatas. You will get those information at the intake stage. The second stage